Welcome back to another voice recording. In this voice recording, I'm going to be reading something from Insider, and the title on this is titled 23 Things That Are Considered Normal in the US but that the rest of the world finds weird. This is just basically a view from people from other countries who live outside the US. They're just giving their takes on the things that people do in the US which people in other countries find strange. And I wanted to do a video about this in the past, and here I am, and I'm finally going to do it. There are 23 things that people from other countries find weird on the list. 23 of them. So let me get right down to this and read all of this. Okay, 23 things that are considered normal in the US but that the rest of the world finds weird. Okay. Some common practices in America are actually quite strange to people from other countries. America's obsessions with drug commercials and American flags are odd to people from overseas. Other countries also don't have the same tipping culture or the same amount of student debt. Okay, 1 through 23. Here's the first one. Using money that is all the same color. Using money that is all the same color. In the US, dollar bills are all the same shade of green, and they all look very similar, aside from slightly different images. If you travel to other countries, you'll find that their bills are typically all different colors and sizes according to what they're worth. Many foreigners find our currency to be a bit confusing since it all looks the same. Yes, I find American money to be confusing. Dollar bills are green pieces of paper with dead presidents on them that look virtually the same except different portraits of presidents. It's called cold hard cash, but I find American money to be, just kind of bland and boring. I find money from other countries to be very, very interesting, and I like them. And, when I was in Europe, I was using euros, and the euro banknotes were in different colors. And the coins were interesting as well. I never got my hands on a polymer Canadian banknote from Canada, but I saw how they look online. I think the $5 bill is blue, the $10 bill is purple, the $20 bill is green. Let's see, the $50 bill is kind of a reddish color, and the $100 bill is gold. And let's see. I know who's on the Canadian $5 bill. Let's see. That would be Sir Wilfrid Laurier. And the $10 bill has John A. McDonald, excuse me. Yeah, the $10 bill has Sir John A. McDonald on it. Let's see. The $20 bill has Queen Elizabeth II on it, but since the Queen Moon died, so King Charles is going to be, I guess, on the 20 in Canada and also on their coins. Mackenzie King is on the $50 bill and Sir Robert Borton is on the $100 bill. So, money from different countries are pretty interesting. And American money is just very bland, very boring, very dull, just not appealing. Okay, number two, putting a lot of ice in our drinks. One small thing that stands out when you visit Europe is that restaurants there don't use a lot of ice. And most restaurants you won't get it unless you ask for it. Americans are among the few people who use an excess of ice in their drinks. Articles have even written about why we do it. The Smithsonian believes it may be related to our more is more vibe in the US. Yeah, I don't like to use a lot of drinks. Excuse me, that didn't come out right. What I was going to say is I don't like using a lot of ice in my drinks. I put about, let's see, I put like one, two, three ice cubes in it, and that's about it. I find putting way too much ice in a drink to be like way too much. And the size of drinks that you get at fast food places is insane. Like a huge cup filled with drinks with way too much ice in it. You know, when I'm drinking, if you drink something like that, I was drinking a drink out of something like that. Like if you drink a drink that's in a huge cup, a large cup with this filled to the brim with way too much ice, it's like you're not drinking the drink at all. Like you're not tasting how the drink tastes because it's just way too much ice in it. Yeah, and I just don't understand why people in America like put way too much ice in their drinks and having like huge cups of drinks. My sister drink a wanted me to she got me a huge cup to put to pour what kind of drink I want in it, and I didn't want to drink out of a huge cup. I just want to drink out of a normal sized cup. And she just didn't like it. Didn't like me turning down a huge gigantic cup. I'm with the Europeans on that. You know, it's kind of odd to me. Using America or Americans to describe ourselves, our customs, and our country. So that's number three. Okay. If you grew up in the US, you may think of America and the United States as interchangeable. As it turns out, much of the rest of the world does not. The US is not the only American America out there. There's also the rest of North America and all of South America. Many can't understand why we refer to the US as America, and people from other countries often refer to our country as simply the states. Uh yeah, I've been describing the US as the states as of late, America. Okay. Yeah, there's two Americas, the term the Americas, which describes North America and South America. The United States just have America in its name. The United States of America. And I don't know, what can you call the people of the U.S.? Um, I guess you got no choice but to call them Americans, but I don't know. So yeah, we're not just the only America. There's other Americas, South America, countries in South America and other parts of North America, the Caribbean islands, Greenland, Canada, Mexico, every country that's on the North American continent, and all the countries on the South American continent. So, yeah. So, I understand that. Understand this, sort of. Number 4, writing the date beginning with the month. People in the US typically write the date out in the format of month, day, year. People in other parts of the world, like the United Kingdom and Europe, write out in the format of day, month, year. To us, that format is quite strange, but many people from other countries can't understand why we write the month first, as to them it seems out of order. Hmm, well, it doesn't matter to me, the format, put the date first, the month second, and the year last, and the month first, the day second, and the year last. I don't know. I find the first date. I find putting the date first, the month second, and the year last to be kind of interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, I wish the U.S. people in the U.S. would do that, but they find that strange. To me, I don't. Okay. Advertising prescription drugs all over the place. In a Reddit thread asking the weirdest things Americans do, many users discuss how strange they thought it was that the US advertised prescription drugs. Many say they found it to be one of the weirdest things about being in the US. The Reddit user No Downvotes Please said, "That was the weirdest one for me. Ask your doctor for brand X antidepressants type commercials on TV. In the UK, your doctor tells you what drugs you should take, not the other way around." Yeah, I just don't see this. Yeah, I only just don't see this on TV. I hear it on the radio. Ask your doctor for this. Ask your doctor for this type of medicine and Viagra, and talk about being men being intimate and using Viagra, blah 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 blah, and yeah, all of that stuff. Like I don't want to hear all of that. Yeah, when I listen to a radio station on TuneIn Radio, and a pharmaceutical commercial comes up, I just mute it because I don't want to hear all of that. Like my doctor knows what medicine I should take. Why I gotta hear this on the radio and see this on TV? Hanging American flags everywhere. Hanging American flags everywhere. In that same Reddit thread, users expressed how strange it was that American flags were everywhere. From businesses to historical sites to homes. Yeah, I remember I have a neighbor. Well, I don't, well, this person lives up the street from me in a neighborhood, and they put out an American flag in front of their house. And and I see this everywhere. American flags all over the place. It's crazy. American flags everywhere, and you'll see that on the 4th of July. American flags are everywhere. But it's kind of overkill, and it is. Yeah, you don't see that in other countries. And you got one state in the US, Texas, they have Texas flags all over the place, all over the place. And the people who have Texas state flags all over the place in Texas, they have this bizarre obsession with Texas used to being a country, and they want their state to be a country by seceding from the US. So, also I go to Walmart, I see any Walmart where I live, like I see American flags and Texas flags side by side all over the place. And it is kind of strange. Yeah, American flags and Texas state flags hanging everywhere at every Walmart in Texas. Like I remember I went to a Walmart in Louisiana. I didn't see American flags and Louisiana state flags all over the place. I mean, I didn't see that. I saw one Louisiana flag at this Walmart somewhere in Louisiana, which is Mansfield, Louisiana, and that was the only flag that was, well, it wasn't hanging. It wasn't hanging out. It was like on a wall, like way up to the ceiling, and that was the only Louisiana state flag that I ever saw. I didn't see American flags all over the place. The fact our pharmacies sell so many things. A BBC America, as BBC America, excuse me, let me start over again. As BBC America pointed out, there are many differences between pharmacies in the US and drugstores in Europe and elsewhere. Many people from other places can't believe that in the US our pharmacies sell drugs and junk food. They can't believe that pharmacies basically double as convenience stores in the US. Yeah, I find that to be, that doesn't look right to me. You go to a pharmacy to pick up medication or over the counter stuff, and you see you'll see like medicine slash medication alongside, candy and chips. Like you go to a Walgreens, you see candy and chips and soda or pop in Canada as it's called alongside medication. Like, you know, a pharmacy is a place where you go and pick up your medication. It should be medication there, not candy and soft drinks and juice and yeah, and candy. So I guess you can go to a pharmacy and and pick up some night quilt along with some Starburst fruit chews. Yeah, to Starburst in the UK, that'll be known as Opal fruits. eating eating bread that allows eating bread that allows that excuse me, eating bread that almost always tastes sweet. In the Reddit thread, many users discuss how they found it strange to constantly encounter sweet bread in the US. Too much sugar on everything, on every food in America, not just bread. Like it just like here in the US, sugar is just loaded on every type of food and even the bread. In Europe, they keep sugar to a minimum. They don't put way too much sugar in their foods, in their bread like like here in America. So I'm pretty happy to eat foods that have little sugar and not way too much of it. But then again, if you're in the US, you got no choice but to eat this food because it's way too much of it. So, using the imperial system of measurement instead of the metric system. Using the imperial system of measurement instead of the metric system. The US is one of 3 countries that still use it. The UK uses it along with metric. And you got other countries that use the imperial system. Just about 4 countries, I think. A few countries that use the imperial system along with the US. And every country in the world, nearly every country in the world uses the metric system. Okay. In the US is one of only 3 countries that still use the imperial system of measurements, and everyone out there thinks we're strange for doing so. Okay, it's 3 countries. Okay. Yeah, I find the imperial system to be very complicated. I just couldn't understand it. I can understand it a little, but it just throws me off. And I've been using the metric system as of late, and it's easy to understand. Yeah. So I take centimeters, meters, liters, kilometers, Celsius over miles per hour, pounds, inches, feet, whatever. Yeah, and also, going back to the United Kingdom, yeah, they use metric, but they also use the imperial system. Their imperial system is all original compared to the US. Yeah, the British version is all original, but the American version is modified. Like, for instance, a 55 miles per hour speed limit sign, or a 65 miles per hour speed limit sign, or a 75 miles per hour speed limit sign, or a 25 miles per hour speed limit sign. You're not going to see that in the United Kingdom. In America's imperial system is basically called the US customary system. It's basically a modified version of the imperial system. So imperial units suck to me. They're complicated. So I'm all in for the metric system. Metric all the way for me. Kilometers per hour all the way for me. Kilometers for me. Celsius for me. Liters for me. The constant commercials on TV. When it comes to advertisement, the rest of the world can't believe how many we have. The Reddit user What Would Tyler Do wrote, I love America, but one thing I hate is the placement of commercials on TV. It might be only for certain channels, but for a 30-minute show, there will be about 4 commercial breaks, and not even evenly spaced, including one before the credits at the end of a show. Then it'll jump straight from the credits to the next show. I'm just gonna say that's annoying. I hate that. And besides, I don't watch TV anyway. There's nothing on television anyway. Television or TV today is garbage. Accepting free refills everywhere we get a drink. Accepting free refills everywhere we get a drink. Many foreigners think it's strange that free refills are often and generally accepted. It's not the norm in many other places. I remember I was on a European cruise ship, and in the drinks, okay, they had the drinks, all on the table, all the cups had drinks in them. You just go and just grab one. I guess if you want another one, you just go and grab another cup. So yeah, I guess that's normal in Europe. If you're European, is this normal to you? Because I find that normal. I never cared for the refill thing. I experienced that as a kid, all the way up to a teenager and an adult and an adult. I really don't care for that. I think it's excessive. That's just me. Oh, here's something about France on refills, on free refills. France banned unlimited refills in 2017. Well, that's something. Yeah. Using a lot of water in the toilet bowls. Toilets are certainly different in the US than in other parts of the world. And one amusing difference to notice how much more water there is in American toilets than other countries. In the Reddit thread, one user wrote, seriously, why so much? I have a question from anybody from Europe or from other countries. So, how much water should you have in a toilet? Yeah, I find using way too much water in a toilet and also in a bathtub to be too much. I'm guilty of bathing in a bathtub, but I don't use that much water. I kind of like taking a shower. A shower is better, but I guess that's too much water too. But you guys have, but in Europe they have showers and they do. So yeah. Putting giant gaps in between bathroom stalls. Many people are surprised that the doors of bathroom stalls in the US are rarely flushed with the side, leaving gaps people can see and that don't exist in any other country. Let me read this again. Many people are surprised that the doors of bathroom stalls in the US are rarely flushed with the side, leaving gaps people can see in that doesn't exist in many other countries. That was brought up in many comments in the Reddit thread, with users saying they found the massive gaps to be an invasion of privacy and just plain strange. Yeah, I agree. I don't want no one looking at me when I'm using the bathroom. Yeah, and having massive gaps in bathroom stalls is pretty strange, and it is an invasion of privacy. So I agree with that. So when I'm doing my business in a toilet inside of a stall, I don't want no one looking at me. Period. And I'm not gonna look at anybody when they're doing their business. I'm gonna keep my eyes on what I'm doing in the bathroom. Drinking huge coffee while we walk around. In many other countries, in places like Europe, coffee is consumed in smaller quantities. That means they drink it quickly and they don't take it to go. But in the US, large to go coffee cups are common. People from other countries find it strange. Taking leftover food home from a restaurant. In the US, we don't think twice about asking a servant to box up our uneaten food so we can bring it home to finish another one. In other countries, it is incredibly strange and even considered rude. In France, for example, it's so frowned upon that a law had to be passed to allow doggy bags to happen to get rid of food waste. Eating giant portions. Speaking of leftover food, people from other countries also can't believe how big American portions are. That's true when it comes to the size of dishes in restaurants, sodas, and other drinks in fast food chains, and even items that aren't food. Paying sales tax on pretty much everything we buy. We might not like sales tax here in the US, but we expect it. In other countries, the sales tax is often billed into the price, so the price doesn't change when you bring something to the register, and they find it strange that the US doesn't do the same. It's such a big difference that there are even advertisers to people traveling to the US warning them of sales tax when shopping. Tipping waiters and waitress often other let me start over. Tipping waiters and waitresses and other service professionals. Not tipping in the US is frowned upon. In other parts of the world, a tip is not expected. It can be even considered rude. Tipping is another thing travelers are often warned about when coming to the US. Using red cups to drink alcohol out of. Using red cups to drink alcohol out of. People around the world can't believe how often Americans use red cups. In some countries, people throw American parties where they all make sure to use red cups. Yeah, I heard about the red cups thing. I heard about that. Um, I don't do that at all. I just drink out of a normal cup, you know. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. I basically I drink Perrier and Sprite Zero. I used to drink Coke Zero, but they changed Coca-Cola changed the formula of Coke Zero by adding sugar in it and making it taste more like regular Coke. So I stopped drinking Coke Zero. Coke Zero used to be a healthy drink, but not anymore. Wearing swimsuits to the beach. In some other countries, in places like Europe, it's considered normal to be topless on the beach. In fact, people who travel to the US often have to be warned to wear swimsuits in public and keep them on. Actually, I heard in Europe, people, some people go to the beach in the nude. They do. Yeah, and nudity, public nudity, I guess, on the beach. I guess in other places is considered normal in Europe. But here in the US, here in the United States, it's just obscene and not right. Americans are basically body conscious because, they're ashamed to walk around the beach in the nude. But in Europe, they just let it all hang out. They just let it all hang out. So, I'm just saying, going into debt to go to college. It's no secret that going to college in the US can be expensive, and students can end up in debt to get a degree. A lot of other countries offer free college education, and they can't believe how much we spend on ours. Throwing baby showers. Baby showers are a fun custom in the US, but it's not something many other parts of the world partake in. Outside the US, some people find them strange, kind of rude, and aren't interested in partaking in them. I don't care for baby showers, I don't care for them. If they're strange, they're strange, but I don't care for them. Okay, working constantly to relatively little vacation time. According to research by the for American Progress, the US is officially the most overworked country in the developed world. Some people in other countries can't believe how much work we do, how long our hours are, how we eat lunch at our desk, and how we don't take advantage of vacation time. Some other countries offer 6 weeks of paid vacation time as a standard. That's certainly not the case here. And that's the view of what people outside the US think of the US. Am I shocked at all of this? Is my feelings hurt? Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. This is a good lesson for me, so when I go overseas, I got to remember what I read about in this homepage document or post online. Yeah. And I guess, I got some people from other countries who are watching the videos on this channel, or they subscribe to me. Do I agree with everything in all of this and all of what I just read? Absolutely, I agree with every single bit of it. To taking food home that you didn't finish at the restaurant, having massive gaps in bathroom stalls, all of that. Everything on that list, I agree. Everything on that list is what makes America, or I'm going to say the United States, or the States, strange to countries outside of the States. So, that's all I gotta say in this video, this voice recording, and sorry about the video or the voice recording to be a little long. I should have just went right through it, right through it. I should went right through that list, up and down, and didn't give my thoughts on it. I should just waited to at the end. All right, that's all I gotta say. Thank you for listening. Cheers.